Fear is not your enemy. It's the most powerful tool of control someone is using against you right now. They might not even know they're doing it, but the effect is the same. It keeps you small, compliant, and predictable. Machiavelli warned us about this 500 years ago, and most people still don't see it until their dreams are crushed and their options have vanished. This isn't about being scared of the dark. This is about the subtle, calculated fear that shapes your decisions every single day. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly how the powerful use fear not just to intimidate, but to architect outcomes in their favor. More importantly, you'll learn how to recognize these strategies, immunize yourself against them, and even use the principles of fear ethically to command respect and protect your own interests. This isn't a lecture, it's an upgrade to your perception of reality. Back in the 1500s, Florence was a chaotic battleground of shifting alliances and betrayals. Niccolò Machiavelli, a diplomat and political advisor, saw it all firsthand. He wrote The Prince not as a guide for tyrants, but as a ruthless survival manual for leaders in a world where idealism gets you killed. His most misunderstood advice revolves around a single brutal question. Is it better to be loved or to be feared? His answer reveals a timeless truth about human nature. Machiavelli's conclusion was stark. It is much safer to be feared than loved. Why? Because love is fickle. It's held by a bond of obligation, which, he noted, men will break when it serves their interest. But fear? Fear is fortified by a dread of punishment that never fails. People might betray someone they love for a better offer, but they will think twice before crossing someone they fear. This isn't about being a monster. It's about understanding that respect derived from fear is more reliable than affection. Think of a manager who is well liked, but whose team constantly misses deadlines. Now think of a manager who is respected, whose standards are high, and whom no one wants to disappoint. The second manager understands that a healthy dose of fear of letting standards slip, fear of consequences, drives excellence. The lesson is simple. Inspire respect so deep that people are afraid to let you down. But here's where most people get it tragically wrong. They think fear is about shouting, threatening, and overt aggression. That's amateur hour. True power uses a far more elegant weapon, calculated uncertainty. This is the art of keeping people slightly off balance. When people don't know what to expect, they become hesitant and cautious. Their minds fill the void with worst-case scenarios, and they do your work for you. Consider the boss who is sometimes warm and engaging, and other times cold and distant, for no apparent reason. This isn't necessarily a mood swing, it's often an unconscious or conscious strategy. The team is always on edge, trying to please a standard they can't quite define. This uncertainty breeds a low-level anxiety, a fear of misstepping that ensures they are always working to gain approval. To defend against this, you must anchor yourself in your own standards. Do your work based on your definition of excellence, not in a desperate attempt to read their unpredictable emotional state. Ground your actions in objective reality, not their psychological games. This next tactic is even more subtle because it masquerades as a virtue, the fear of missing out. FOMO is one of the most powerful market-tested fears in modern society. It's the engine behind limited-time offers, exclusive drops, and the curated social media lives you scroll through. It creates a sense of urgency and scarcity, forcing you to make impulsive decisions. But it's also used in social dynamics. Have you ever been part of a group where inside jokes and shared past experiences are constantly brought up, making you feel like an outsider? This tactic subtly enforces group hierarchy. It signals who belongs and who doesn't, creating a fear of being excluded. This fear makes you more agreeable, more eager to conform to the group's norms, just for a taste of that inclusion. To counter this, you must cultivate what the Stoics called apatheia, an inner indifference to external validation. Recognize that the feeling of missing out is an artificially created anxiety. The real power is deciding for yourself what is truly valuable, not chasing what others tell you is scarce. Now let's talk about a classic strategy from the political arena that you see in offices and even families. Isolate and conquer. A united group is a threat. A fragmented one is easy to control. A manipulative leader will never confront a strong team head-on. Instead, they will create fear and suspicion between its members. They might praise one person in front of others, creating jealousy. They might share a confidential concern about one colleague with another, planting seeds of distrust. Soon, the group that was once a solid unit is a collection of paranoid individuals. Each fearing the other is plotting against them or currying favor with the boss. They are too busy watching their backs to challenge the leader's authority. This happened to a tech startup I once observed. The brilliant founding team was a powerhouse, but a new CEO, fearing their collective influence, began holding separate meetings, giving conflicting information, and creating rivalries over resources. Within a year, the original team had dissolved, and the CEO had absolute control. The defense? Over-communication. Create unbreakable lines of communication with your allies. Share information openly and verify rumors directly. A united front built on trust is impenetrable to this kind of manipulation. But the most dangerous fear of all isn't external. It's the one that's turned inward, the fear of your own power. The world conditions you to be afraid of standing out. It teaches you that ambition is arrogant, that wielding influence is manipulative, and that setting firm boundaries is selfish. This is the ultimate control mechanism. It convinces you to put the chains on yourself. It's the fear that if you truly spoke your mind, asked for what you're worth, or pursued your boldest vision, you would be rejected, ostracized, or punished. So, you play small. You self-censor. You dim your own light to make others comfortable. This is what society wants. A workforce of competent but timid people is the easiest to manage. To break free, you must do the thing you fear. Ask for the raise. Pitch the bold idea. Set the boundary. The first time is terrifying. But then you realize the catastrophic consequences you imagined rarely come to pass. You survive. In fact, you don't just survive. You command a new level of respect. You teach people how to treat you, and they learn that your power is not something to be feared, but something to be respected. So let's bring this all together. Machiavelli's point wasn't to be a cruel tyrant, it was to be a realist. In a world of competing interests, being loved is a bonus, but being feared, or more accurately, deeply respected, is essential for survival and success. We've seen how this plays out. Through calculated uncertainty that keeps people guessing, the FOMO that manufactures urgency, the isolation that breaks alliances, and finally the conditioning that makes you fear your own potential. The world is a power game. Most people are playing blind, guided by fears they don't even recognize. But you no longer have to be one of them. You now see the hidden currents. The first step wasn't learning a tactic, it was learning to see. The next step is to act. Start by observing. Watch how people in your life use these subtle forms of fear. Then practice grounding yourself in your own reality, not the one they try to create for you. This is the path to true agency. If you are ready to stop being a pawn in someone else's game and start seeing the truth, subscribe to this channel. We don't do feel-good platitudes here. We uncover the realities of power so you can navigate the world with intelligence and strength. Stay sharp,